Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, welcome back sports. Talking way too much, welcome back sports. Talking way too much, welcome back sports.
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official, no negotiation needed, period. You already know WCS is back in the building. Man, we had fight night yesterday. Salute to the ones that's on deck. Big Bunce and Boxing is in the building. Salute to you. Hope all is well your way, man. Anybody else is coming down, right? You support the channel. I appreciate you. BG, Bud, Gonna Stop Canelo on deck. We're going to talk about some state of affairs that happened just the other day. The weekend of boxing turned out to be pretty decent. I'm going to be honest with you. Bruce Carrington is up first on the top ranked card, but I got to give the whole rundown, so to speak, of those who came out victorious. You had Cepeda defeat Tevin Farmer in the rematch. You had Michaela Mayer defeat Sandy Ryan, beat the brakes off her. Bruce Carrington, he ended up getting the W. Norman Jr. went in there and demoed his opponent in Derek Cuevas. Tiger Johnson picked up another W. You know what I'm saying? It was an all-around great night of boxing. You know what I'm saying? It was solid. I don't have no complaints. It was solid. There were some fights in here, like always for boxing, that went a little too easy. But, man, that's the format. We used to that. You know what I'm saying? We used to that. Among other things with, you know, MMA and all that. But I'm going to do, just do a reaction to hearing the champ. 78 Sports did a freaking interview with Deontay Wilder again. We haven't heard from Wilder in a moment. You know how people, do the blackout, take some time away from social media, but they still have regular lives. It was good to hear from the WBC King, stopping through, letting people know what he had going on. And, certain things behind the scenes that the fans don't know about. And then, his return. It's on the calendar already. He's set to return. Now, of course, we're going to get to all those naysayers. WCS always have to do sanitation, police the area. Because, I remember when Deontay Wilder came up with his first loss back in February 2020, people saying he should retire. When Anthony Joshua had more loss. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later, Shawty. We'll get to that later. Let's get back down to the nitty-gritty. Let me drop this freaking thumbnail. And let's tune in to what Bruce Carrington had to say. Shoo is making a steady rise in the sport right now, the 126-pound division. That is the featherweights. He was in the ring facing Enrique Vivas. Okay? Jose Enrique Vivas. And look, Carrington has been trying. Well, he hasn't been trying. He actually has been carrying out, showing people that he's a fighter to be reckoned with. Now, I'm going to be honest. His last fight, I don't know what it was, but he didn't look all that impressive to me. You know, he has the I guess the brand name, hashtag going over there with Shoe York or something that they had, Shoe York. You know how it goes. People trying to blend in and get the people over there. He's from Brownsville, though. I ain't gonna lie. You know, he's from Brownsville, Brooklyn. You know, if I said it correctly. And he's been climbing the ladder and been trying to tell people to take him serious through his performance value in the ring. Last night he went in there, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think he was gonna get Jose Vivas up out of there as quick as he did. He says, "You never missed a shoe show because you never know," Carrington said of the highlight reel moment. It says an explosive performance was needed given the stakes. Carrington, 15-0, hosted 9 knockouts, was extended the distance in his past 2 starts. But Top Rank still had designs, okay, pay attention, designs of positioning him for a major title shot in the next fight later this summer. This win over Vivas came in a WBC title eliminator, y'all. And the 27-year-old could not have performed better to plead his case. This was a WBC eliminator. So if you really pay attention to the boxing rankings, the WBC champ right now is the one and only Cool Boy Stephen Fulton. Ray Vargas is champion in recess. Bruce Carrington is the number 1. He's ranked number 1 right now for the title shot. So for him to go in there against Stephen Fulton, that is going to be a tough fight for Bruce Carrington. I can't say the same for Stephen Fulton. Why? Because it's obvious. Who will I be to get up here and try to express that it's a 50-50 fight? I don't see this as a 50-50 fight. There's no knock on Carrington, but Fulton's been in there with the way better competition. I consider him to be much more technically sound than Bruce Carrington. That's just me, man. I'm not saying that's the overall consensus. Bruce Carrington said, "I just saw him opening up and got him doing exactly what I wanted him to do," said Carrington. "I was going to get my shots on the inside and get him up out of there." It ain't nothing wrong with being confident. When your work shows the results, there's nothing wrong with it. It said Vivas was left in a defensive mode while Carrington was on the hunt. A final left hook by the rising contender was enough to force the end of the fight and the start of his journey as a title contender. All right? Bruce will go on to say, this is his SOS signal out to the ones that's on his radar, in his line of sight, LOS, as we say it in the core. His LOS. "I want all the top champs. You already know. But let me be specific," stated Carrington. "Nick Ball, I want that WBA title. WBC Stephen Fulton, yeah, I want that. I want that. Let's get this work in. I want all that. I'm top 5 in all the sanctioning bodies. Let's get this work and stop ducking." Now, of course, boxing fans, I think, is within the community. I think one word we should really do away with, because it has too many sub-meanings, sub-definitions, micro-definitions, is ducking. Stephen Fulton is not ducking. You, Bruce Carrington. You know what I'm saying? Nick Ball, he just won the title not too long ago and had his defense. So now that you completed the WBC eliminator, the smoke is right there where you needed to be. You say you ranked across the board. At once upon a time, we used to have that other guy, what's his name? William Cepeda, freaking ranked across the board, and then that disappeared. You know what I'm saying? He in there going life and limb with Tevin Farmer in an all-out Donnybrook. Would I like to see this fight? No doubt. No doubt. Because you're talking about, in a way, having all this credit being on the pound for pound list. And yes, Fulton attempted to go over to Japan and defend his titles, but came up short. But the fact that he was at a lower division and he went over there, he lost, he still got the experience. He still got the experience. And then to move up, and now he's a champion, look impressive, it's going to be a tough fight for Bruce Carrington. But, bro, I'm not knocking you one bit for your confidence. It's just that confidence is going to have to be, it has to be coupled with a lot of other things that you're going to need to go in there and defeat Stephen Fulton. He is not an easy fight for anybody. He's not. The man showed that he can fight through adversity, get up, and keep on punching, man. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen you in adversity like that. We haven't seen Bruce Carrington shoot in adversity like that. We've seen Abdullah Mason in adversity, but we haven't seen shoot yet. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen Keyshawn. Well, I can't say we have seen Keyshawn Davis. The only reason I'm mentioning Keyshawn is because I remember him and Bruce was having a conversation on the white couch, and they was talking about who they would like to fight. And Shushu was mentioning Inoue. Hey, I don't have nothing to say about that because, Inoue is at a lower division of 122. So it's no need for me to really elaborate as if that fight is going to happen sometime soon. It's not. But speaking of the current, I would like to see Stephen Fulton. I would like to see Nick Ball. But it's a lot of people that feel, Shushu, that you're going to have trouble with that lineup, big dog. You got Angelo Leo. They think Angelo Leo might be some trouble. And you rank number 4th in the IBF. Nick Ball, you rank number 2 in the WBA as Nick Ball, the champion. You rank number 1 in the WBC, and you rank number 1 in the WBO. And goddamn it, you want to go over there and get that Rafael Espinosa smoke? Boy, you better have a mask on. You better have a mask, because one thing about what Espinosa has been proven to do is throw them elbows, drop them bows on them, and drop them bows on them. You got to be ready, dog. Plus the height, the reach. Dude got a goddamn gas tank. I don't know. It might be a reason you mentioned ducking. You know what I'm saying? It might be a reason why you ain't mentioned that Espinosa. That's a long-range sniper right there now. That's a long-range sniper, but enough of Bruce. Let me finish reading this article right quick and what he had to say in closing. All right. He said, I'll chop that tree down, too. I've been calling his name out since last year. Stop playing. You got to ask him the question if he wants to fight me. I've always said I want to fight. I'm not ducking nobody. I want this work. Come see me. And that was him talking about Rafael Espinosa, 26-0, 22 knockouts. He's talking about chopping the tree down. That'll be a good fight. That'll be a good fight, man. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a good fight. Shout out to Emiliano Vargas. He ended up picking up a win. A lot of these were marshmallow touches over an open fire. You know what I'm saying? Tiger Johnson, he went in there and got it done, improved his record to, I believe, 15-0, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I see it down here. Yeah. Johnson now 15-0, 6 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? That's another riser that's on the go. Yeah, for sure. But shout out to Bruce Carrington Shushu. I know you have to prove to the people. You have to get that respect. I'm curious to see who he fights when you ranked across the sanctioning bodies. I'm curious to know what's next for him. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a quick look. Brian Norman Jr. stepped in the ring against Derek Cuevas, right? And let's go through, boxingscene.com and what they had to say about Brian Norman Jr. I was going to call him an assassin, but he know if he was listening to this, he told me not to call him that no more. You know what I'm saying? He his daddy's son. So I just call him Norman Jr. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't forgot. I was corrected. But I've heard so many other people call you assassin, shawty. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be like, hey, Norman Jr. You know what I'm saying? I was corrected. You know what I'm saying? I got to put it out there. I was corrected. But I just don't see what a correction has to do with me when I'm listening. I'm saying, what was that? What was that they just said? They just called you the assassin again? But you told me down here in the A, you didn't go by that name no more. Anyway, he looked like that in the ring. He still held down the assassin moniker. Once again, Brian Norman Jr., all the expectation, anticipation of him going in there and defending his title for the first time. It says the unbeaten WBO welterweight titleist ended a 10-month ring absence in style as he stopped Derek Cuevas in the third round. Cuevas was floored and unable to respond to the commands of referee Thomas Taylor, which prompted a stoppage 2:59 of round 3 in their ESPN televised co-feature Saturday evening at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. They say Cuevas haven't fought since December 2023. The extended layoff was due in part to the postponement of this fight from November 8th, a date from which Norman, a 24-year-old titleist from the greater Atlanta area, was forced to withdraw after suffering a hand injury. Cuevas opted to wait for a title shot in lieu of a tune-up. Shout out to Cuevas. He opted to wait for a title shot in lieu of a tune-up. Shout out to him. His mind was in the right place. He said, man, I want the title shot, goddammit. That's the same thing with Crawford. Crawford ain't trying to goddamn have no motherfucking in-between fight for no freaking reason. So Cuevas, he felt, I want the title shot. He might have saw something, y'all. It said Norman honored his agreed upon voluntary title defense, which came 10 months after the highlight reel knockout of Giovanni Santillan last May to win the interim WBO title. This is what he had to say. I felt wonderful. I came in with a little bit of ring rust. You know what I'm saying? He said, I came in with a little bit of ring rust. But you saw, I shook that off real quick. It was simple. Just getting back into it. I've been off for 10 months. So it was just getting back in the field. Being back in front of everybody. As you can see, it wasn't a struggle at all. Boxing scene say that wasn't entirely true. Cuevas came out strong in the opening round as he needed to do to the lack of respect he gave to Norman in the pre-fight buildup. The left hook was the weapon of choice for the first time title challenger from Puerto Rico. Norman never threatened to go down, but was clearly bothered by the shots upstairs, as well as the right hand over the top later in the round. Cuevas quickly won as he was more concerned with not getting caught than trying to match his opening round aggression. Norman fed off that and though controlled aggression, enjoyed an early night at the office. A left hook left Cuevas reeling inside the final 30 seconds of the round. Norman slammed home a right hand and power jab to deposit Cuevas into the canvas. God damn it, ain't nothing like making deposits, god damn it. And at that night, I would say Norman made 2 deposits. He deposited Cuevas' consciousness into the shadow realm and also another freaking paycheck added to the bank. You know what I'm saying? That's what prize fighting is about, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Cuevas, I don't know if you had any fans out here, but I know there was a lot of people that was thinking, oh man, Cuevas, he's just doing this. But at the end of the day, when the camera zoomed in on Quaver's eyeballs, his pupil was twitching back and forth. And I say, somebody find that man an optometrist. For real, somebody find him an optic evaluator. He reminded me of when Hector Luis Garcia got hit by Javante Tank El Chincheca Davis. He said, no, I can't, no, I see, no, Mila, no, me, I can't see. I mean, you know, both of them was looking the same. They was like, huh? Where am I? I see stars, sheep. I see unicorns. That's the way Cuevas looked when the referee was looking at him. He said, come here. Ven aquí, amigo. Ven aquí. And Cuevas like, no, senor. No, I stay right here. Referee waved out the fight. So what that says for, you know, the power aspect of things. Okay, we already know that every fight starts different. We already know the critique is going to come in, right? We can get fighters that come out scrapping from the opening bell and not too many people say nothing. But it's all about who, you know, they want to critique the hardest. They'll come out there and say, oh, they coming out boxing. Okay. All right, they coming out boxing. Oh, so-and-so having trouble. Oh, man. I mean, look, the sweet science demands a process. Everybody process is scripted different. However you put it into reality, everybody's process when the fight starts is different, depending on the styles, depending on the experience, depending on the fighters. Everybody's style is different. Cuevas had his moments, his snapshots, where it seemed like, yes, he had the confidence. He's a boxer. He's a boxer, yo. But he just didn't have the durability to go any longer than what he did due to the disruption of the power punches that was landing by Norman Jr. You know what I'm saying? So of course, I seen some videos coming out the A from the Dirty, and they was sending some SOS signals over there to that guy that has a fight coming up with Stantionis. Ooh, they wasn't too nice. They wasn't too nice because right now we have a unification going on at 147. It seems like the division is now starting to pick up, and there has some smoldering little smokestacks going, some little brush fires just going in there. You know what I'm saying? It was some PSAs coming out there, taking shots at Boots. They want the smoke. The South got something to say. They want the smoke. We want to see the smoke. But I don't understand why so many people just saying that it's going to be an easy fight for Boots. Look, it's amazing. Look, it's the greatest part about this whole thing. I always have to balance it out, right? Analytically, when it comes to how boxing fans tend to use names for their own selfish reason. You know what I'm saying? Their ex parte narratives, man, is so unbalanced. It's crazy. Y'all need to stop talking about sparring. Sparring is over. But what is that Karen has walked in there with Jerron Boots Ennis twice and went the distance. Neither did Jerron Ennis get David Avanesian out of there by himself. Now we have two fights that Norman Jr. has disclosed, dispersed, absolved his opponent via knockout, right? Now they're firing mortar rounds from the South over the Philly, saying they want the smoke. Even though, yes, Ennis has that fight coming up for unification, which is going to be great. That now compresses the division. Now we get to see if Ennis looks any better than he does before. Yeah, he may be having an issue with that IBF hydration clause. Now he doesn't have to follow those rules in a unification bout between Stanionis and himself. So let's see if that is one of the reasons Jaron Ennis looked less impressive. Now, what I was saying earlier about how fighters' names are carried by some, people are now giving Corinne all the props for going the distance with Jaron Ennis twice. You know what I'm saying? Before, they wasn't even caring anything about him. The first fight, he ran, and then he started the fight at the end of the 11th and then into the 12th round, right? He was running. Then he gets into a situation where he gets a nice little hefty paycheck. He gets to come over to Philly again, and he goes the distance after being dropped once. All right? But let it be known that Stanionis supposed to be the rule of, he's supposed to be the measuring stick, so to speak. They saying this fight is going to be a tough one. If Boots go in there and make this Stanionis fight, it's only going to build up him and Norman that much more. This fight has to happen. Let's be honest. This fight has to happen. Jaron Ennis, Norman Jr. has to happen right now. We need to set this ablaze at the 147-pound division, turn up the volume, and get people to tune in to this particular matchup. Now, I know Barrios still out there. It'd be good if Barrios and Norman, because that would be his best opponent on his resume. If Barrios is ever able to step in there and we can knot it up 2 titles apiece, that would make for a great undisputed clash. Both fighters get that nice payday. And no, I don't think it'll be in Philly either. But I think it's a fight that we need to put on our projected calendars as a fantasy fight, and hopefully everything plays out. But then again, a part of me feels like it's going to end up just like Errol Spence at that point in time, where he collected the WBC and then collected WBA. But yeah, I don't know. I can't assume. I'm pretty sure Top Rank and PBC may potentially work. I don't know, but it'll be good for Norman Jr. to go over there and knock out Barrios, and then him and Ennis. I swear that collision course right there. I mean, it will be almost perfect. It'll be almost perfect for them to both come in like Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor, 2-2. Bud Crawford, Julio Sindongo, 2-2. It'll be great. People get talking about the 147-pound division again. But ultimately, Cuevas became another casualty of war. That's just the facts. Cuevas became another casualty of war. I don't even think Norman even broke a fucking sweat. You know what I'm saying? On to the next. But the South got something to say about, the rivalry and what everybody tends to run with. Yes, sparring is sparring. I get it. I can't say nothing about it. Sparring is sparring. People love talking about sparring. But now it's kind of past sparring. They're champions. They're both champions. The first unification, post-White Glove, king of the 147-pound division and more, Terrence Bud Crawford, has since departed. And he has made it perfectly clear he ain't going back down at 147. He don't give a F who it is. He ain't going back down there. So they're in the clear. Whoever it is, Stanionis, Barrios, Norman Jr., Jaron Ennis, who is going to be the sole proprietor, to hold the crown of the king of the 147-pound. We'll see how that works. But this right here was pretty much that lead left, you know what I'm saying, had Cuevas, you know what I'm saying, not having clear vision anymore. Shit started to get a little bit fuzzy. It took me back to the bubble back TV days where you had to go in there in your closet and grab an iron coat hanger and use it as an antenna. Why? Because most of the antennas on the TV end up getting broken. And Get a nice little coat hanger, put some aluminum foil on that bitch, and that was your Wi-Fi service right there, up to whatever. That was your signal, not your Wi-Fi. Your little signal. That's the way I think Quavo's thought process was when he was trying to see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? There is power in the punches. Now the debate is who has more power. Do Ennis has more power, or does Norman Jr. have more power in the welterweight division? We know Stanthionis is going to be a tough go. Stanthionis is no pushover. But as we've seen, champions can sometimes be easy work for other champions. You feel me? Champions can sometimes be easy work for other champions. I cannot say that about Ennis. Why? Because Corinne wasn't easy work for Ennis. Evanesian wasn't easy work. But Santillan and Cuevas, even though they wasn't champions, they was easy work for Norman. So now we have a future forecast of trying to determine who's the man at 147, and we have some actual, the first half of the unification starting in Ennis's next fight with Stanthionis. The face-off has started and shit like that. I'm not really trying to go into freaking a language 101, but I just hope the motivation is a little bit different for this fight. Please don't say the same thing, man. Please help us all, man. Don't say the same shit, man. I'm just saying, we don't want to hear, you're gonna be in and out like a robbery. No, you are banned from saying that. I ban. You banned. No, you don't stay in a robbery for a whole day and a half. You know what I'm saying? And think you're gonna walk out there and not get arrested, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you're going full 12 rounds, that is not in and out like a robbery. So please don't say that about Stanthionis. Let's leave that line alone. Put that to bed, lock it up, throw away the key. We done with that in and out like a robbery there, Ennis. Go in there and handle business. Get Stanthionis. We want to see a good fight. And then so we can try to piece together the rest of the itinerary. We want to see what the manifesto looks like for the remaining part of the welterweight division. Let's keep it going. Norman said, like I said, it's a Brian Norman show. I'm going to show out. You better come see me. Insisted the defending title holder. My hands are on the money. Man, like I said, everything was perfect coming into tonight. It was nothing. I don't care who you ever fought in the past. If you ain't never fought B. Norman, what was this? Hold up. Is that the assassin? Are you still going by the assassin? Can I get my apology? Because boxing scene has called. This is your quote, Norman. I have to be petty on this. This is your quote, the assassin. You ain't never fought no. Huh? I don't care who ever fought in the past. If you ever fought B. Norman, the assassin, you told me don't call you that no more. But you calling yourself that. I need some type of Hallmark card, man. I need a Hallmark card, bro. When I call you the assassin out of respect, you said on some bullshit, I'm not the assassin no more. I'm not the assassin. I said, how can you get rid of that name so quickly? You're just coming into your own now. So I don't even know which one to call you, man. B. Norman or the assassin. Damn. He called himself this. I feel some type of way, man. I thought he had did away, put it to bed, put in a security box, threw away the key. It's out of here. But on here, boxing scene, in print, that's what you said. Okay, I got it. You ain't never fought nobody. Okay. It said, I'm right here. After y'all fight, I'm still in the welterweight division. I got a belt as well, stated Norman. You see it on my shoulder? You see what I just did to Cuevas? I can do y'all the same exact way. Norman Cuevas served as a co-feature to Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan. Shout out to Norman Jr. for another victory. And let's see how, Ennis goes in here and get this freaking Stanthionis work. And I'm curious to see what Barrios has next. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious to see what Barrios has up next. Is there going to be another, a two-way unification? Jerron Ennis steps in there with Stanthionis and Norman Jr. potentially with a future manifesto to face Mario Barrios for the WBC title. Let's see how that works. Let's see if Top Rank want to do business with PBC. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if that's the case. I would like to see that. Now let's get down to where is it? I want to now speak on a recent interview from 78 Sports TV. He had Deontay Wilder, the WBC king, on deck. And if by chance it's still up there, because it might have been taken down, you know how things go. You know what I'm saying? You know how things go. But hold on, let me see. So let's see what the champ had to say. And once again, this is the audio. This is the audio of 78 Sports TV talking to the one and only bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, with a recent update on what he has going on in his life. You know what I'm saying? The title is I Got Too Soft, which Deontay Wilder expresses that in the interview. Not the type of soft that you're talking about, but the type of soft of, having what you have, maybe a little bit of complacency and enjoyment, or pretty much just dealing with the outside life. When you're in a non-competitive state and you're trying to take care of your welfare. You know what I'm saying? You know how they always talk about taking care of your welfare, your well-being outside the ring. So I'm going to throw this thumbnail up there. Deontay Wilder is also set to return, and he's going to be fighting on BOK Prime. We'll get to that later. Let's get it.
Subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop a new video. And if you're digging the video, go ahead.
I meant. And, we've just been working hard as usual outside of the ring, of course, as well. And, we just been, I know I've been on the journey of healing with my shoulders. And anybody know about a shoulder that the shoulder injury is one of the longest processes there is when it comes to an operation on the body. And I've had a shoulder injury twice. Many people didn't know about it or whatever, but that's what to expect of me. I'm a man of few words, and I don't tell all my business. It ain't for the world to know or anyone that are involved. And I had a double injury. It was 78. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, sir.
I've been dealing with pain for the last 5 years.
Champ been dealing with pain for the last 5 years. You know, it's always been said if you're Wilder and you throw on that right hand the way he does, it's going to be injuries. And he's had multiple injuries on that right extremity. Not just any extremity, but this extremity, you know, that basically extends off the frame of a 6'6" human being, deemed the Bronze Bomber. Throwing that right hand with that much power over his career when he was sitting at 43 victories, knocking out all his opponents with 42 knockouts. You feel me? It's gonna be some strain. It's gonna be some impact damage. And he said he's been dealing with pain for 5 years. Fighters go through injuries, but still they want to go in there and fight and get that paycheck too, and try to test their will to get past it a little bit. Let's keep it moving.
For 24 hours a day, you know, nobody knew my life and how things was, and you know, but at this moment in time, I'm pain free, and it's a great feeling. You know, they always say that you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Right.
And you know that is a true saying, but I'm not the one that has to.
What was that again, champ? You don't know what you have till it's gone. You mother effing right, champ. Because we are missing a U.S. heavyweight champion. I don't give a damn what anybody else say. You know what I'm saying? They never going anywhere. Those naysayers, critics, or whoever the ones that are always going against the grain because they call themselves hardcore boxing fanatics. And every time a U.S. Olympian went on to be one of the greatest heavyweights of this era, 10 successful title defenses, 5+ years reigning, man, we miss you, champ. We miss your presence when you pull out that right hand. Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang.
Go through an experience to lose something to really understand what it really meant, just to try to gain it back. I can understand it from the first time, but you know, life throws curveballs all the time, and it brings you different things in life, and you know that's just been a part of my life. And here I am now, man. I'm so much happier. I had to take a wellness check. You know what I mean? Out of my career, out of life, man, I had a lot of shit going on in my life, man. But today I say I'm smiling, man. I'm so happy. Man, it's been a long time coming. I've been through a fight outside of the ring as well as the fight inside of the ring, and I had to get myself together, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and here I am now. Here was the product of me putting myself back together and presenting myself once more to get back out there and to fulfill what I left off at, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. You know,
So pretty much Deontay Wilder's been going through some issues in life as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because imperfections are in all of us. But at the end of the day, the U.S. footprint, when it comes to the heavyweight boxing stable, we are absent of a heavyweight champ. And that's why what Deontay Wilder was able to do while he was reigning, defending, knocking heads off. When he was knocking heads off, man, people wanted to act like they wasn't anticipating Wilder to come to the ring. But yes, they was anticipating. But now I project we're going to be we're already on the 5th year, going on the 6th year. It's going to take us another 10 years. This is going to be a longer hiatus for the heavyweight champions. Was so dumbfounded. I mean, I don't even think therapy would work for this in the boxing community. How the U.S., the haters was so critical and was pushing so hard to get the champ out of the sport. You know what I'm saying? Say he should retire, to the point where all they thinking about is supporting other neighboring champs. And when do we need permission to support our own? A U.S. Olympian who did it the fast track, the hardest way possible out the trenches, picked up the title, and gave you highlight reel finishes as a heavyweight should do. And then deemed as one of the lighter heavyweights, if you truly break it down and peel back that stanky onion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's layers to everything in life, but goddamn it, we have a long time before we up here celebrating another heavyweight champion. And the good thing about this, WCS will tell you, the good thing about us, having another 10 years before we get a U.S. heavyweight champion is the fact that majority of these young, crusty, bitter haters, their ass going to have a whole nother perspective 10 years from now. They're going to be old. They're going to be grumpy. They're going to have all these other ailments. They're not going to be able to focus on when the next U.S. heavyweight champ come in. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be happy. Who is it? Oh, man. It's good, man. It's been 20 years since that bronze bomber came through here and wreaked havoc in the heavyweight division. Damn, I'm happy. Yeah, y'all going to be telling your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all going to be talking about Wilder like he did something special. We got at least 15 years. I know I said 10 earlier, but as I think about it, who's going to be the next reigning? Who's going to be able to have 10 successful title defenses? The man right now is Alexander Usyk, hands down. But who's going to be able to emulate what Wilder did from the U.S. footprint? I'll let you sit on that for a minute.
Champ, and this has been a rough couple of.
Hey, shout out to Haynes Legacy, man. Salute to you, big dog. For the $15 cash out, man. Much appreciated. You already know, man, what it is. Thanks for your support always, my brother. Much appreciated.
Years for you. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with all the stuff you have to deal with inside the ring and outside the ring, betrayal, backstabbing stuff. So how are you feeling right now? Are you good right now? Spiritually, physically, mentally?
Man, I got pain in my heart. I got hate in my heart, but I love it. I need a little bit of it. You know what I mean? Every recipe has that secret ingredients that it needs some of, whether it's a little bit or a lot. And a little bit of hatred in my heart is needed for me. You know what I mean? And this person, it don't make me treat people bad. You know, I do follow the golden rule as to do unto others as you want them to do unto you. You know what I mean? And I'm always a giver because I got a giving heart. But, you know, I just needed that little inch of hate in my heart to pursue myself to go along, because I started getting a little too soft, man, in this world, because you become too successful. And, you know, I'm already a loner. You know what I mean? I don't be around people. I do my business, and then I'm back into the house. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I always been throughout my whole career. I'm a very quiet, laid back dude, man. And it's just a beautiful feeling to be where I am. I had to, you know, the saying is you got to go through to get to. Yeah, and I had to go through it, bro. I had to go through it, man. Boy, they tried to kill me. They tried to kill me, man. But you know, I'm proud to say that I can smile today. You know what I mean? And God is good, bro. He's really good. And here I am right now, back on my journey again. A lot of people don't get second chances, third chances in life, and I'm just blessed, man, to be able to continue to fulfill my dreams and be on my journey, man. And here I am, 78. I'm very happy. I'm happy at this moment in time. I've been through a lot, bro. I've been through hell, but I'm good. I'm glad I had to go through it. I learned a lot along the way, and allowed me to appreciate a lot of things. And I need to get my mind back together. You know what I mean? I was dealing with something very hard mentally. Yeah. And if you ain't in mental control of certain things, man, you done. So I had to get myself back together, man. So here I am.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So
that's good to hear that, you know, once again, he go through the fire, because truth be told, and some real shit, you know, boxing is a tough sport. You know, those some cats that was, I remember laughing when I said it'll always be on some type of domestic violence or violence in general with boxers. Because, you know, in combat sports in general, when you participate in a sport that one of your targeted areas is your head, there are always going to be issues. There are always going to be problems. You know what I'm saying? And boxers go through shit all the time. They go through personal stuff all the time. And the ones who are basically observing from afar, from the lookout post, in the comfort of your own home, we never really know at all unless you're close to that person. What the severity, the depth of what they're going through personally. You know what I'm saying? You can see somebody disappear off the radar, and then they pop back on the radar, and it's a mugshot. You never really knew why they was off the radar, but obviously when they were going through some shit, and now they surface, they've gotten in trouble because certain things they might have been going through. That's not the case with Wilder, but he is talking about going through hell, and you heard him say how severe it was. So with the operation, with his mental state, well-being, and everything, it's good that he's in a better place. The wild part about it, when I'm doing these reviews or reaction to these vids, when it's a less favorable fighter to the haters, it doesn't matter because his fans that rock with him heavy. That's the only value that is needed. The ones who understand who he is and what he meant to the sport. You know what I'm saying? Even when he's not reigning right now, what he meant to the sport. It's a lot of people that want to use all these harsh terms to basically to characterize a fighter that they don't like. But you're talking about a fighter that never popped dirty. You know what I'm saying? When was the mugshot? Where was the mugshot? I remember him being on the Breakfast Club and say the Bronze Bomber want to catch a body. And people just, ran with that shit. But one thing I try to tell people, my experiences, I can't relate to what you're talking about. Man ain't never treated me any type of way like he was better. You know what I'm saying? Never, ever. So I can't really relate to that. But some people don't want to hear if you've been around a person and covered them because they haven't had the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? They haven't had the opportunity. That's the only thing about it. It's hard to explain to somebody, man. I don't understand where you're going with that. I don't understand why, people would trash these fighters' name and they never met him one time. If they did see him, right? Because some fighters move the room. Wilder's one of the fighters who moved the room. When he walk around the corner, he's there. He moved the room and people be like, hey man, that's Deontay. It might be the same, people that seen him on TV. Oh man, that's the Bronze Bomber right there. Yeah, they probably quicken their steps a little bit and try to get closer. Hey, can I get a picture? But behind the scene on the Ghost account, they was the one that was saying, oh, he need to retire. We don't like his skill set. He's broken. But he gave you 43 victories. Laid him down like silk sheets. Everybody he stepped in the ring with. Let's see what you get in the next 15 years if it's somebody coming in and basically replicate what he did.
So now you got Tyrell Herndon. I seen some people saying that this is the type of opponent Wilder should come back against. He needs to come back and get his feet back, get his feet wet, blah, blah, blah. Get back into the groove of things before jumping back out there. How do you feel about the opponent selection?
Yeah, I like the opponent selection. I mean, he was, when we all got together and stuff with my team, that was definitely the main goal is to get back out there, to get things back together, to see where I am, you know what I mean? And with all the stuff that with all the things that has happened to me over these past several years. And I think it's a great selection. We got a lot of fights lined up for this year. We're looking to have maybe 3 this year. The next one's going to be a big one. Is out of the country. And we're looking to have, we're looking to do one more at the end of the year. So, we're just on this journey of putting myself back together, going, being the man that I know that I can be, and leading the pack as a king, as I know I am. And a lot of people have times where, life bring them certain things, and they had to take take a seat, you know what I mean, and get themselves together before entering, and that's what I had to do. And
right.
I'm just like I said, I'm proud. I'm happy I had to go through this journey. I had to go through these trials and tribulations. It makes me an even better man, a better leader overall. and we wanted to take these steps. We wanted to get some of these warm-ups in before we start, get back into the big meaningful fights, because we could have easily got back into that. But it ain't, it'll defeat the purpose of what we're looking forward to in the future.
So what exactly is the champ looking for? He's just saying, hey, give me a moment. I had the operation. I got to get myself back into the groove, man. See, people don't want to give credit. They used to seeing him what he used to do. But it's fucked up how people don't grade you highly when they're reflecting about what you used to do. They don't give you the high grade. You know what I'm saying? All they do is talk about on the back end. Oh, man, so-and-so a little bad against Joseph Parker. Oh, he a little bad against Shane. Okay, that's boxing. You know what I'm saying? They look, these same people say, oh, all the greats have lost. But then when it comes to Wilder in this new day and age, oh, man, he just didn't have this. He should have had. Bro, we're talking about the now. Him fighting the fighter that he about to step in there with, Tyrell Herndon, is exactly what he need. He's 39 years of age. He turned 40 in October. It is exactly what he need. 24. Tyrell is 24 victories, 5 defeats. His last defeat was October 2023. And this fight I actually saw with him in there with Richie Torres. Richie Torres stopped him in round 2. All right. So he's fought since then Gonzalez, Coleman, Silvas, and now he's set to face Deontay Wilder June 27th. All right.
Future. And that's why we're taking this route, this journey, and I'm just looking forward to getting back in there, doing my thing once more, man.
Yes, sir. Have you had any talks? Well, first of all, what's your relationship like with Turkey? You and Turkey still got
Bomb Squad.
Yeah, man, still got a great relationship. Man, I always write him. I always check on him and how life is for him. With his health and mentally, physically, emotionally. You know what I mean? And they always keeping an eye on me. They always keep checking me. As you see, they're posting things about me still. You know what I mean? So it's a great relationship right there. He's a good man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I know we've been talking about this fight for I don't know how long, since 2013, 14 or something. We've been talking about the same fight. Have you heard anything about a possibility of you and Joshua maybe fighting this year or no?
Maybe not this year for sure. Not this year, but in the close near future of years. I mean, not of years, but the near future. You know what I mean? Maybe sometime next year or sometime. You know what I mean? Or maybe a year after that or something. But everything, all that is close. You know what I mean? We just all got to just do what we got to do. I got to get myself back together first and foremost, and I got to know and I got to prove to myself that I'm back together like I feel. I had to, like I said, I had to take a wellness check, man. Something was seriously wrong with me. And at first I couldn't acknowledge it. I couldn't identify what was the problem. I kept trying to talk myself out of the situation. I kept trying to encourage myself that it'll be all right. I'm going through a phase in life and stuff like that. But the battle was much more stronger than I thought it would be. And I really had to take a wellness check and face reality and face the things that was in front of me. But
shout out to the champ identifying he need to take a wellness check, man. Come on, man. How you gonna be a better person if you refuse to identify your own issues? That's good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? All that, is a part of the package. Recovery, getting yourself, wellness, getting yourself back in check, whatever that consists of, whoever, however, the resources he had to go get. But that's great news, man.
I'm glad that I was able to I'm glad that I was able to be able to acknowledge what was going on with me, and then after acknowledging what was going on with me, to take immediate actions. And I'm very proud of that. My team was very proud of that as well, because we always say one thing without doing the other. You know what I mean? I can't say something's going on, something ain't right with me, and not and find the problem and don't find a solution to it. You know, so I found the problem and I found the solution, and I act on it immediately. And here I am, man. If it wasn't for me acknowledging to myself, being real with myself, being honest with myself first and foremost, then I don't think I'd be at this position and place where I am now, 78. Right. And I'm not ashamed to talk about certain things. I'm human. We all go through things. I'm just one that's very successful, and I don't mind sharing certain things to help people out along the way. We you know, and this is life, and it's not about who gets to a destination first or the easiest. It's about who can overcome the obstacles that brings you that the things that comes at you through life, the ups and the downs. How can you fall down and get back up and get to that destination that you're trying to get to? Because most of the time, people, when they fail and they fall down, they don't know how to get back up. They don't know how to put themselves back together and get themselves back out there and overcome their fears or face their fears or even negativity or any you know, naysayers or whatever. You know, but I'm not. And I can't wait to get back out there to see I'm gonna really back like I feel that I am. Like I know that I am, you know. Like I said before, many times I told myself I'm ready, okay, I'm back. This is it. But it wasn't really it, as we could see. But that was just me motivating myself, convincing myself that everything is good, although I didn't understand what the fuck was going on with me, 78.
Hey, that's some real shit right there. He said he thought he was good to go, but he wasn't, and it was just him trying to motivate himself. That's a real statement.
Right. It was crazy. It was crazy, but you know, just thank God I'm here, man. I'm still alive. I'm well. I'm so much more healthier, and I'm injury free. I'm injury free at this moment in time. It's nothing like being hand like I want to off a wheel and not feel no pain. You know, for over about 5 years, every time I threw my right hand, I would feel pain. So it would be a muscle memory that when I throw it, that, you know, pain would come after it. And sometimes it would be delay in my punches, or sometimes I feel like I can't get off because of my mind know that when I lift this arm in any type of direction, way, form, or fashion, that the repercussion would be pain. I am so injury free now that at times in spare moments in my day that I have to shadow box, I have to lift, I have to reach for things with my right, because I done had so many injuries with my right hand, I feel left hand dominant. You should see me. You should see me punching the bag or shadow box or whatever with my left hand. It's
Champ was like, he had a routine where he was favoring his disability, and you know, when you have, like, not to use as a handicap, but when you have an injury, you do become familiar with that injury and what you have to do in routine over and over again. And that will change your life and what you was used to doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's true words said, man. Like you used to feeling pain. You do stuff a certain way all the freaking time. And some things you can't repair. But sometimes you get to a point, it's like, you know what? There is some flexibility in this. Let me repair this. Because how am I going to get any better? When you get older and you have these injuries, things get worse. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what the injury is and its severity and all that, it gets worse, man. And you will favor, you know, to stay away from that disability or that handicap.
It's crazy. The way I hit the bag sound like my right hand is in the bag. The formation that I've been able to build because of so many injuries with my right, it allowed me to become left hand dominant. I think about my left, when I do things, I think about left hand first instead of right. But I have to get every day I had to go in the motions of using my right hand or shadow boxing. Um, so I won't have a muscle memory of that. When I do use it, there is pain. I have to get the transition in that when I use it, it's no pain anymore. I can use it. I don't have to hesitate. I don't have to hold back on my punches or nothing like that. And it's just a great feeling to be able to go through the process of what I had to go through, all the physical therapy that I had to go through. And keep in mind, I got a great physical therapist. He's one of the best. Shout out to Daniel. He one of the best, and he got me back together, man. He really did.
That's good stuff, man. Yeah, it's good to hear you, man, and in good spirits, man, like this, man, because we all know, man, we got the first person we got to take care of is ourselves, man. But it sounds like because you was in so much pain, it's almost like you trained yourself to be hesitant with your right hand, like in the same way, like when you put a dog collar, when you put that shock collar on the dog.
You know, I don't cry over spoiled milk. I have to deal with the opportunity that is dealt my way and make the best of it. You know what I mean? And continue to strive for greatness each and every time. And here I am again, you know, after attempting and failing. And here I am now trying again to pursue what I know deep down in my heart that I am and completing the mission that I know I'm going to be able to complete. Like I said, I'm on a solid mission and can't nothing get in my way but myself, you know, and
Whatever mission the champ is talking about, I'm pretty sure it deals with his potential future itinerary in the heavyweight division. Right now, the names is up there. Pretty active names. I like the heavyweight division right now is popping. I know there's a lull in the action, but the heavyweight division still has some potential great fights. It would be great if Wilder can make himself. It's not impossible. You know, I can hear certain people that have, keep on saying that, there's not a chance, but yet they watch other heavyweights, the Zhang, like they was sitting up here jumping up and clapping their heels for Zhang, spinning Wilder around and stopping them or whatever. But when Zhang got stopped, you barely heard a peep. I guess they was all at the church, trying to goddamn pray to be a better them, to be a better boxing freaking fan. You know what I'm saying? Because when Caballero beat the goddamn Stromboli out that gut, you know what I'm saying, and stopped him, then these same individuals wasn't saying shit to the 40-year-old. They didn't say, oh, well, Zhang should retire. I mean, I hope the mission proves him, serves him right. Him getting fixed up and being able to come back and give us one last run. However it would be. I don't know how long Ussy's going to be holding on to the titles. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long Dubois is going to be holding on to the titles. We just seen some BS happen with potentially Derek Chisora somehow, some way, being positioned as Dubois mandatory, which is absolutely absurd. But when it comes to Wilder resurgency, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really am. I'm looking forward to see what he has left as far as, him. This is Wilder saying he's injury free. He's feeling good. So they always say the last thing to go is the power. But once again, you get the casual haters. You know what I'm saying? They'll get up here and say, oh, man, he don't have it no more. Where's his power? Oh, he don't have that no more. But they'll sit up here and debate you and talk about, oh, power's the last to go. It all depends on who is it. And if you can't put that to Deontay Wilder, one of the hardest hitter in the sport, you know what I'm saying? One of the hardest hitter in the sport. If he's able to come back, rehabbed up, feeling his best, it's going to be a nice run. It's going to be a nice run, man, because, it's really no knockout artist is there. Some fighters, believe it or not, like 78 asked about the Joshua, I think, the Joshua fight. I mean, it would be good if Joshua just stepped up and say, yeah. But I guess Wilder's in a different place right now where he's going to come back and fight the guy. in Kansas that he's stepping back just to get back in his coordination, get back into the groove, see how the right hand is, the right, extremity, and see how it goes from there. But it'll be nice to get that Joshua fight sometime soon.
Long as long as I'm able to acknowledge certain things that come my way to be able to handle them, I'll be all right, man. Like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of things that a lot of people would never understand. And even with doctors and stuff, they scratch their head all day long at me, and they just can't believe the certain things I'm able to do and how I'm able to do it in the time frame that it is done in.
Right.
With all the pain, with all the injuries, with all the surgeries, man, it's just crazy. Then the outside distractions, you can never help too many people. You know what I mean? You can never give enough. You can never do enough. It's always come back on you like you the enemy, like you did this, you did that.
Right.
And all the
Right.
lies that been put on me, man, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the lies from people that I love, from people that I did so much for people that would be homeless if it wasn't for me. They wouldn't be able to eat, wouldn't have a great life if it weren't for me. You know what I mean? And a lot of them
Right.
betrayed me and backstabbed me. But sometimes you had to go through life and see what we call the bottom. Not necessarily I'm dealing with the bottom because I'm so successful that I've done a lot of things in my life that I'll never see the bottom again unless I just become reckless in life
Right.
and
Right.
just on drugs or something like that. Other than that, man, life will always be beautiful for me for the rest of my life and my children's life because of the foundation and the plant that I planted, the seeds that I planted into the universe and into the ground, man. And I'm benefiting off them to this day, to this day,
Sir.
to this
Yes,
day. You know
yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? And here I am back on my journey, baby. They can't, you know what I'm saying? They can't stop me. You really got to kill me. Like I said, I die for what I believe in. And here I am again, over and over and good. I'm going to continue to try until it ain't because I can't no more, bro. Until it's the time where I say, man, you just can't do it no more. I'm well alive. I got all my senses. I got all everything. I'm functioning very well. I speak very well. You know what I mean? I comprehend very well. I do a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of shit outside of boxing too, with building.
Knock heads off very well. Relieve humans of consciousness very well. Future Hall of Famer very well.
And buying property and investing and shit like
Right.
that, man. Really having that passive income coming in more so than anything. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful
Sure.
feeling and a beautiful thing to see, especially to see these kids grow and allow them to be able to come with you on certain missions that you have to go through and explain to them what you're doing this for and why this and this and this, instead of them just seeing you have so much things and not understanding not having a proper understanding of how the fuck dad get it or what he doing or what is this for or what is that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm a leader. With being a leader, you have to be a teacher as well.
That's right.
I like to lead and like to teach them, and so they can have a better understanding of what's going on. So when they do grow up in life, man, it's a force to be reckoned with, especially when they're all together. So man, I got a big mission. I got a big hat that I wear every day. You know what I mean? I can't do what others do. I can't speak how others speak. I can't present myself in certain ways like others, man, because my grandma told me years ago I was anointed by God, and she didn't lie. You know what I mean?
Right.
And here I am. So yeah, the mission is still the same. I gotta get these titles, man. I gotta do what I gotta do.
What? Champ said he got to get the titles. Ooh, they ain't gonna like that. Dang. You said you got to get the titles. So that means he going on another title run? They ain't gonna like that.
To feel that greatness, to show the world how great I am, like they know I am. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir.
it continues, 78. It continues, brother, and I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm looking into like, man, it's feeling good to be a veteran or some shit like type
Right.
shit. You
Right. Right.
feel me?
Right.
Woo! Throw them bees up. Throw them
Absolutely.
motherfucking bees in the air, goddamn.
Yeah.
Wave that bitch. That's how I'm feeling, man. It's a great feeling to feel like a vet, man. You just been through the ropes. You done been through the wire and shit like that, and so many
Right.
different things that you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable within yourself, your surroundings. You feel comfortable with the environment that surrounds you, man. And you understand things so much more than you ever did when you first started into this thing. That's even with the skill level. That's even with the business level of it. That's even with dealing with people. You know what I mean? Whether it's on a personal level, on a business level, or just, on an associate level of we crossing each other paths. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Stuff
Right.
like that. You know what I mean? It's just all the great knowledge to apply to life to become wise and having that experience to be able to do so and tell somebody about some things, man, to guide them and drop them gems. You know what I'm saying? I
Yes,
left a
sir.
few crumbs, but I didn't leave a trace. And I love it, bro. I love to throw them V's up, man. And this
Yes,
is
sir.
what I'm doing this time around. Now, I don't know, I got this same mission and the goal, bro, but like I said, them V times, baby. So I'm here to have a lot of fun.
Yes,
I'm here to
sir.
have a good time for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are. This is the time to have some fun, man, along the way.
Yes,
And
sir. How's
I
that gym
just
coming
can't
along?
wait. What's up, bro?
How's that gym coming along?
Ah, my.
Before we get over there, he said throw the V's up. As a vet in the game, we know the inception of his professional career, um, his body of work, his portfolio, his record jacket is heavy. Um, no matter what the precipitation, from positive to negative, what's recorded and registered is just that. You can't change it. You can't expunge it. You can't do anything with it. Now you can critique it from afar. You know what I'm saying? You can do surface level critiques, but ultimately it's not going to change any type of what's already recorded and what he's actually accomplished. I mean, you can tell a friend who know a friend who want to be a friend that, hey, this is the way you feel about Deontay Wilder's career. But we understand his body of work speaks for itself. We understand when it was time for him to step up to another fight, regardless of who it was, people was anticipating a knockout. Okay, one thing that God then bless us with is basically reading somebody else's mind right there on the spot to say, okay, you bullshitting because I see it, I feel it, and you need to cut that shit out. He didn't bless us with that, being mind readers, being 100% accurate on reading people's minds. So and especially if you can read some minds from afar and you can hear what a hater have to say, right? And then correct them on it before they actually hate. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people have default hate when it come to Wilder. Now they're gonna be talking about, oh, he ain't going on no title run and he ain't doing that. But guess what? Zhang at 40 years old, Wilder's 39. Zhang at 40 years old just got stopped. When have Wilder been stopped to the body? Both. Wilder is a vet, man. He's been in there with the big names in boxing. Joseph Parker was a former champion. He's been in there with other champions. To say he ain't fought nobody on his resume just because they don't win, you have to use the same energy for other fighters who's been in there with big names, and some of those big names, they wasn't victorious. But the Deontay Wilder's talking about vet. You know what I'm saying? He is a vet right now, bro. Not only is he a vet, you have to attach his Olympic rise, him being the only medalist at that time, at a bronze medalist, you have to attach that with his professional career, just like you do the Lomachenkos and all these other freaking gold medal winners. And Carissa Shields, all them people that earned the gold medal, even the silver medal, the bronze medal. Olympian is Olympian.
My God, that thing gonna be sick. One of the world's best gym. I mean, I was the best gym in the world, man. The looks how it's gonna be, it's never been seen before. Mark my words. But
Right.
but it's coming along very well, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm just glad I built the gym, and what inspired me to build it like I built it is because if I wanted to get back into this and I said I wanted to take it serious, And I mean what I say about going back, getting the things that I want to get done or accomplish in this business before it's too late. I said I needed something that I can train in that'll motivate me, that'll inspire me each and every day that I wake or that I'm in
Right,
here. I can feel that energy, bro. And every time I'm in it, even though it's an unfinished project, just to feel that energy in there, bro, just to feel it. It just, man, I just go in there automatically just want to turn. Time I walk through the doors, man, I'm throwing punches and shit. I'm
that's what's
moving
up.
my head. You know what I'm saying? It just get
Yes,
you in
sir.
that mood. And I built a gym where it's like it's a gym, but it's also arena. And I call it the Kings of God Army Arena. And so it's got a gym feel to it, and it got slash a arena feel to it as well,
Right,
because I wanted to have both feelings. I wanted to be able to be in the gym training, and I want to be able to, when I'm sparring or in a ring and stuff, I feel like I'm in Friday Night Lights,
right,
Saturday
right,
Night
right.
Lights. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Under those lights, under the cameras, and getting ready to do my thing. So I got both worlds in there, and I can be able to train for different situations that I need to while I'm in there. And I thought it was a great idea to do so, and I did. And the technology that's in there is like none other. You wouldn't see this at gyms and stuff because it wouldn't make sense. But this is my personal private gym, so it make all the sense for me to do whatever, when I put it out there that the world gonna see. And I'm looking forward to it, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. But chat, man, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. Thank you for your time, brother. Good to see you back, man. And we
Yeah.
always here supporting. Always.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you so much, man. Love, love,
Yeah,
love.
brother.
Always, man. Never but much love, man. You always show me love as I show it back to you.
Yes,
And shout
sir.
out to the LDBC, baby. We up in here once again on that journey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go get that dub, man.
Yes, sir. All right, baby. I'll talk to you later. Man, how them sandwiches going, bro?
Hey, that was 78 Sports TV. That was his content. He interviewed the WBC king Deontay Wilder. Look, at this point, if you feel some type of way about me calling him the WBC king, I mean that was the title he held, right? He reigned. When you reign that long, you WBC king. Even if it's a former, you WBC king, man. But yeah, that was 78 Sports content right there. Go check it out on his channel if you want to hit the replay button over there. Shout out to Deontay Wilder for giving us an update on his status. I remember hearing people tripping that he was coming back and fighting on Triller. I'm like, why? If you saw him lose twice against Joseph Parker, now come to find out, he said 5 years he's had injuries and shit like that. He went in there and lost 2 times in a row. I guess he's been going through the point of surgery, rehab, whatever he had done, whatever aid that he brought to his injury to get it to improve rehab therapy and all that. He feel though in fact it's time for him to return back to the ring in June. That's good news. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what platform he on at this point, because like I said before, they always talk about the greats. All the greats have lost. But somehow, some way, in this particular, the last, I would say 8 years, there's been a change in how these fight fans understand that shit. There's a lack of development. I mean, I wouldn't say it's so much to the point of the development is because they're incapable of understanding what went down. It's just the fact they don't want to understand it. In this society with these type of boxing fans, they love to be in groups. They love the warming feeling of being in a group and all of them having the same amount of fur. It's the herd mentality that goes on. Not too many people, in these cliques are willing to just think for themselves and have their own they express themselves with their own narrative, their own feeling, and they stand on it. It's just too many that's out there that believe what somebody else is believing just to get in line. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand, like, if you've been following boxing, from back then, your thought process is different. It's almost like you have to sit up here and use flashcards, not even flashcards. And you go from flashcards to ASL. ASL don't work. You got to start talking different than what you're talking. Okay, I'm gonna slow it down for you. I'm gonna slow it down, and then you start using hand signals and shit. Back in the day, that right there is going forward. When I point my hands to the left, it's going backwards in time. You have to start talking. You find yourself, performing like a clown. It's just a lot of cats will always say the same shit, but yet they don't respect it. Certain fighters can take one loss and it's all good. Oh man, it happens in life. Oh, the greats lose, and then the great, like Wilder, lose, and it's all he should retire. Some fighters get tagged with the warrior spirit, but and the other fighters, they get tagged like, oh man, he's done. And it's not just black now. It's not just blacks, because Anthony Joshua been breakdancing on the canvas always since he fought Vladimir Klitschko. Not just started Andy Ruiz now. He was breakdancing back when Vladimir Klitschko was retrieved from the Himalayas from ice fishing. They brought him back into the ring. He hasn't fought since he fought Fury. But did you hear them say, that Nigerian, hey man, you should retire? No. Man, Joshua can't retire. I got to get an update on his poster. He's a model. I want to see what next underwear, style they coming out with Joshua. These dudes got full-blown posters in they home on the ceiling. That's who I want to be like when I close my eyes. That's the last person I want to see, first person I see when I wake. You know what I'm saying? Joshua can keep on losing, keep on getting knocked out, but you'll never hear him get the same criticism as Wilder. But ultimately, not to basically cloud this, because that was a great interview, not to cloud it with the past, but that is facts. We are absent of a future American heavyweight contender champion that's going to take over like Wilder did for 10 plus years as a WBC champion, somebody who was exciting, entertaining, and that the fans wanted to go see. You look at it and you get a little puzzled, right? When some fighters' name come up and they say they trash. And I say, man, it's so easy for people to say, a fighter's trash when this is a cold ass sport. Like, this is a tough ass sport. Even to do mitts for 3 hours, you have to have some type of conditioning. Like, if you get somebody off the street to go in there and do mitts, sometimes they just want to hit the mitts their hardest because they're unsure, like they never hit mitts before. And you're not supposed to go in there and hit mitts and using all your strength. You're supposed to go in there and use medium speed and get into the routine and learn and get your form and coordination down, and that's it. But along with that, you got to breathe correctly. If you are a tyro to it, you're going to hold your breath. You're going to all types of contortion to the face. You're not going to be breathing correctly. You're going to find yourself getting tired quick. But yet you have these people that say, certain fighters are just straight up trash just because they take some losses against the top, the TOP, the top competition, y'all. The creme de la creme, the top competition. They take a loss against the top. You hear them praise Ali for his trilogies. Praise him. Hey, man, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, he has some memorable rematches in his trilogy. They'll sit up there and highlight the names. But one thing, when it comes to Ali, you know what they won't say? You never hear anybody say Ali trash. You know what I'm saying? You won't hear the trash come out. And Deontay Wilder is tied with Muhammad Ali for title defenses. But they act like they cannot comprehend the language. He is tied. He is tied with Muhammad Ali, bro. Even though Ali was 3-time, you have to take in consideration as to the history that's already been written. And if it's a new fighter that wasn't back there during the Ali era that matched one of his accolades, you can't blame the fighter for that. You can't blame Wilder. You can congratulate him, but you can't blame him. That's what he accomplished. And I want to put it out there to the ones who are stubborn. Because, you know, as humans, we are stubborn in our own right for whatever we select to do so. But let me tell you something. You have to say to yourself, you have to ask yourself, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, have you ever sat on the board? When you walk down or wherever you retrieve your mail, has it ever been a request letter in there for you to come and vote on the Hall of Fame? Have you ever drafted up the criteria on what it takes for a fighter, a boxer, to go to the Hall of Fame? Okay, so if that's no to all of them, when it comes to fighters like Ali, that you all constantly mention his name, he himself had his faults early in his career. You know, a lot of people don't know, as Cassius Clay, Ali was knocked down by Sonny Banks when he was early in his career. He was knocked down by Sonny Banks, bro. He was also knocked down by Henry Cooper as Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali are the same person, just like Deontay Wilder and the Bronze Bomber. They're the same people. Ali was dropped early in his career. But people will say, oh, he the greatest. He the greatest. Don't talk ill about Ali. Yeah, it's respectable what he did for activism and what he stood on. That's outside of boxing. That man had his beliefs and he refused to go to war. That's respectable. But when we talk about the four-cornered square, he had discrepancies like everybody else. He was dropped twice while he was Cassius Clay. You know what I'm saying? And then the first person when he became Muhammad Ali to send him to the canvas was who? Joe Frazier. You know what I'm saying? He was in there with the Sonny Listons. I mean, it's a lot of people. Yeah, it may not be people on Deontay Wilder's freaking resume that mirrors these greats back in the day, right? But boxing was different back then. Wilder fought who he fought. Just think about it this way. While you're gathering your fruit basket, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to these boxing discussions, and you getting your favorite fruit and say, this is what I want in my basket. And you have a piece of fruit in there to say, no, this fruit reminds me of Wilder. I don't want to put this in my heavyweight basket when it comes to the history of the sport. You have to ask yourself, am I being fair about this? Because we don't have those type of names, the Ernie Shavers, Ali's, the Bowles, Roy Jones Tarvers, Sonny Liston. I mean, it just goes on and on of heavyweights that you can name that we don't have comparable today. Even Oleksandr Usyk is not compared to them. Even though he was one of those history-making, 2-time undisputed. Cool. But we don't know how he would have fared against some of these heavyweights back then. We don't know. We can only praise him for what he's done today. But also you have to look at, and you have to say to yourself, in my assessment, even with Usyk's success, who would you compare him to these great heavyweights that's in the Hall of Fame? Who can we take off Wilder's resume and compare to these greats? It's all going to be the same. It's always going to, come out when you get your results, it's always going to come out the same. There's going to be some discrepancies. There's going to be some underlining discrepancies, especially when we was coming off a hiatus of the Klitschko brothers. I will always tell these Wilder haters, find the U.S. heavyweight that you can praise and give the highest exalting plaudits for before Wilder picked up the belt. Give me the name during the Klitschko era of a U.S. champion that was reigning. They wouldn't have called it the heavyweight depression if it wasn't a fucking depression. Since we were in a depression and there wasn't any human beings available to go on a tear like Wilder, then we should appreciate and give him the halo he deserved for what he was able to accomplish as reigning WBC heavyweight champion, especially out of the U.S. We don't need no fucking permission to support a fighter over in the U.S. Regardless of how people emote on demand when Wilder name come up. A lot of them are somewhere else. They don't even reside in the U.S., and that's a good amount that does. But even the ones that's up here shitting on Wilder, his fans understand that he's a future Hall of Famer, like myself. I'll say he's a future Hall of Famer. He's going to get his praise. The ones who respect him for what his accomplishments, they give him the utmost respect for what he was able to accomplish. They always want to use one freaking name. One name does not solidify a freaking legacy across the board for the Hall of Fame. You can't continue to say, well, why he didn't fight Klitschko? Why he didn't fight Joshua in that deal? Okay, let's just say he would have took the deal and he would have went in there and knocked Joshua the fuck out, right? What would have been the excuse then? He needs to fight somebody else? Because Joshua had already fought Klitschko, an older Klitschko, retired Klitschko, for when the argument is presented and it's actively being discussed, they act like that is a plague. They act like you don't supposed to bring that up. Oh, Joshua was whooping Vladimir. No, the fuck he wasn't. The whole plan was for Klitschko to help Joshua sell out Wembley Stadium. That's the first time that Wembley Stadium was sold out with Joshua being one half of the opponents in there in his career. I mention this all the time. Jeff Legg was the other time. And man, come on, let's be honest, man. The shit didn't sell out. But if you was to talk to the Joshua fans, they'd be like, he did. Deontay Wilder didn't have to have that stamp of approval. Oh, man, Deontay sold out Wembley. No, they were saying, hey, why he didn't fight Klitschko? Why he didn't fight Klitschko? He would have went in there knowing that he has certified punching power. If he would have went in there and fought a Vladimir Klitschko and knocked him out or defeated him, I'm curious to know what would be the conversation. That he was old, he was too old. He was over the hill when Wilder stepped in there. Oh, you have a puncher's chance. What would have been the reason of criticism? One fighter doesn't determine what's the elevation that a fighter is going to be when it comes down to him knotting up the gloves and going into freaking retirement and basically beginning his eligibility to be selected as a ballot Hall of Famer. I love when people know that they think that mentioning Wilder around me is going to get some type of response. I've heard it all. You all put too much effort in trying to say what he hasn't accomplished, but you have no resources, you have no connects, you don't even have the smallest plug to go up here and erase what's on his box rec. What's there is there. That ain't going nowhere. When that man finally decided to hang it up, Y'all are going to be old enough to witness give his Hall of Fame speech. I'm pretty sure he's going to mention his grandmother and how she said he was anointed. And you all going to say, oh, I remember him saying that back in the day. Well, guess what? Your old ass is going to be there when he said again. I always believed in myself. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Yeah, you're going to hear all those one-liners that he mentioned while he was champion. He's going to talk about the times, the good and the bad, and what he had to experience. But above all else, your ass ain't going to be able to do shit about it. So when he returns back to the ring in June, you're going to be paying attention. Why? Because around your friends, you don't have the goddamn courage to speak up and say, you know what, I got respect for what Wilder did. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of cowards that are freaking birthed over here in the U.S., especially in this boxing community. There's a lot of cowards. But you're going to say to yourself, damn, yeah, at one point in time, I used to talk so much shit about Wilder, but now he in the hall and he about to get the credit he deserved. It's not going to be a motherfucking thing you can do about it. You just got to sit there like me and watch the show. You're going to have to listen to him tell you how his grandma said he was anointed and how he always believed he was through the good times and the bad times. And you're going to have to sit there and soak it in or cut the shit off or change the channel. You can't stop it. No matter how many losses that he get from this time on, he's already cemented himself in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing you can do about it. The good part about him understanding about throwing the V's up, him being a vet, he understands the work he's put into. You know what I'm saying? He's put in the work. You can't erase that shit. Wilder has put in the work. That's why when I put this clip up here and I turn the volume up, nobody can report this shit because it's my content. And I appreciate the champ allowing me the opportunity. All the times, collateral times that I seen him in public and was able to cover him in fight camp, I always say that was my Muhammad Ali. Look, every time I say that, you know, people have their laughter. But the good thing about it, I want them to laugh because I'm doing the exact same thing they're doing. I'm laughing because I had the moment to experience the heavyweight king in the U.S. of this era, up close and personal, and I got to see it on my own. I got to witness it. I got to take the pictures. I got the interviews. I got to sit next to the champ who was going in there knocking grown-ass men the fuck out, and he wasn't considered the biggest heavyweight champion in the division. But somehow, through his grandma considering him to be anointed, he had this insane power. This insane power that was attached to the physique and physical composition of a basketball player. And he was able to go in there with what they considered to be fragmented skills and relieve those individuals of their conscious state. If that ain't a motherfucking blessing, I don't know what is. I don't know what is, man. But it's always good to throw it up there in their face.
Bomb Squad!
You see the lady in the background when she was smoking? Because she probably got some chill bumps on the back of her neck. She probably got some chill bumps. You know what I'm saying? Look. When the people used to see the champ in person, they wanted the bomb squad, goddammit. They wanted the bomb squad effect. How would you not like, look, let's just try to find another fighter in the U.S. that has a signature like that you want to basically get on camera, get a video, get a picture, or whatever, them saying that. Wilder did. I promise you that some haters that was on here seeing him in person, and no one really knew who they were behind the screen, but they went up here, hey, champ, It's so great to see you, champ. Can I get a picture, champ? Now, do you mind to get a video? Okay, please, please. Let me hear it, champ. Let me hear it, Bomb Squad. He gave them the Bomb Squad. Them motherfuckers start to melt. Hey, that made their whole freaking fight week. Hey, you don't have no Bomb Squad. They up there at work showing their friend. Look. I met Deontay. Wow, look. We took a video. Look. And they up there, goddamn, listening to Bomb Squad all day, right? And then, look, one hating ass coworker. Hey, man, I heard you got a video. Let me see that video, though. Here, go right here. They bragging. Oh, man, I got that Bomb Squad. But you the one that said, you didn't like Wilder, man. You were saying that Joshua would knock him out, Klitschko would knock him out, Fury would knock him out. You was hating on, you never liked him, but when you see him in person, all of a sudden you want him to give you a Bomb Squad? Oh, man, it changed. It's just something came over me when I seen him in person. He's a cool guy. Yo, he's a cool guy at the end of the day. I was wrong about him. But I'm telling you, this shit has happened. I promise you, this shit has happened, yo. See, the one thing about the herd mentality, like I've reciprocated before, one thing about the herd mentality, it exists on social media. A lot of people have voices in places where they can maintain their covert. You know what I'm saying? They can maintain their cover and concealment, but yet they can allow their voice to be heard. They can sit up here and spread propaganda all the time and try to pass off these ex parte narratives. Now, the thing about it is you have to be smart. You have to not listen or stay in one particular area and listen to the same rhetoric. It's good to meet these fighters in person because you're human. It's just like you're being at work and certain new people come into your space. You meet them and you find out if they're friendly or foe, right? Same thing with boxing. A lot of people may look at these fighters and what they say on a social media platform, and they grade their distance, or how heavy they want to support the fighter, just based off something that may be an active topic on somebody's platform or what they've heard on social media. But if you meet them in person and you just so happen to be lucky enough to strike up a conversation with him or her, then your whole mentality change and say, oh, man, so-and-so was cool, man. Oh, man, I feel bad because I talk so much dog shit, and donkey piss about this person. I was sipping from the wrong cup. I'm gonna be honest, that donkey piss I was sipping on, that shit was sour. I knew it was sour, and I kept on sipping from it. But he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. So one or two things gonna happen. They're gonna go back to that same place where they was sipping and getting those goddamn donkey piss cocktails, and they're gonna continue to do the same thing, or they're gonna stay at a distance and say, you know what, I'm not gonna say the same shit I was saying before because it's not true. I actually met the person. They're not who I thought they were based off all the criticism that you all was giving. You know what I'm saying? All the malicious comments you was making. You're basically painting that person out to be a picture that doesn't exist. I found out by myself, for myself, that's not the case. I mean, there's been some situations like this on here. But what I know for a fact, when you tell somebody you've had experience with a fighter that particular group is hating on, they don't want to hear it. They feel some type of way about it, yo. And that's what the Wilders of this era has been. Wilder has been a hated fighter. He's been a hated fighter. But I've never seen him in person give me anything to justify as to why the hate is the way it is. I'm serious, bro. Like, I've never seen Deontay raise his voice. I heard him. I never heard him. When I was out there, I never seen him disrespect the motherfucker. I just never seen it, man. I just never seen it. look, I'm glad. I like distance. When he say he's a loner, I am too. Like I don't like. I'm glad I never went on his property. I'm glad I never had his number or anything. I'm glad because I'm not. That's why I don't do interviews often. I'd rather take pictures and be the photographer than anything. I'll talk my shit, yeah, but that don't mean I do panels every week. That's just not me. I've never been like that. But it was awesome, from Deontay Wilder to every fighter to be able to have the opportunity to have contact with them in this era. And for Wilder, yeah, we can say that he's on the backside of his career. Okay? Being he's on the backside of his career doesn't mean that the support should be loosely delegated. All because, yeah, when he was actively knocking heads off, we was like cheering bomb squad, but then he on the back end of his career, and for another return fight, we should take off we should keep on talking about what Zhang did when Zhang was stopped since that last Deontay Wilder fight. And then, not to mention how Joseph Parker was stopped prior to him stepping in there with Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these fighters have flaws. Zhang has been stopped. Parker's been stopped. Wilder's been stopped. Joshua's been stopped. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when does the hate stop, though? It's not too many favorite fighters that haven't been stopped. Dillian White has been stopped. Alexander Povetkin has been stopped. What about Dubois? Philippe Herkovic? You have all these damn familiar names that have been stopped. Makhmudov, he was a contender at one time, stopped. Frank Sanchez, stopped. Jared Anderson, stopped. Come on, man. Y'all acting like the heavyweight division, there's not a weight disparity. Some of these heavyweights are way heavier and they pack a punch. A lot of these heavyweights have been stopped. But yet they act like they really can't pull it out of their recall memory when it's time to mention these names and include them in the same equal fashion of criticism when Wilder's name is on the topic of discussion. When his name is on the blotter, it should be, it was a great time seeing the champ reign and compete the way he did because he brought excitement. He brought the knockout. He gave you that ring entrance you was looking for. And then as years go by, the competition changed. He fight considered one of the top heavyweights in Fury 3 times when you didn't see a lot of champions fighting their opponents multiple times. Back in the day, you saw it all the time. But as time changed, you didn't see it as much. We're talking about a rivalry. Luis Ortiz, a fighter that people weren't trying to respect, even though when he was undefeated. When he fought Wilder and buzzed him, they was giving, Luis Ortiz all the credit. Oh, man, he almost stopped Wilder. And then Wilder came back in the rematch and stopped him. And then they stopped talking about Ortiz. But they was praising the shit out of him based off him hurting Wilder in their first fight. I mean, come on, bro. Come on, man. And then the Fury, we all know, Deontay Wilder was the first man to knock out Fury. Come on, man. The long count just didn't happen with Jack Reese. When I get on my snitch, Nick, I can do you some goddamn current and history, previous history. Yeah, both of them names started with a J. Jack Reese is a part of the long count with Fury. And you already know it's another fighter that's part of the long count back in the day. Jack Dempsey. Look him up. he was one half that was considered to be part of the long count when it came to Gene Tooney. Hell yeah, look it up, shawty. No, yeah, you might want to get some breathing apparatuses. You want to go deep in these boxing aquatics. Yeah, Jack Dempsey had this thing with standing over his opponents when he knocked them down. And while he was trying to, basically commit the same act of being over braggadocious in a celebratory manner, he fucked himself. You feel me? Because we all know Gene Tooney haven't lost at the heavyweight. Jack Dempsey pretty much had his day, right, of redemption, and he had dropped Tooney, and he stood over him like a fool. And the crazy part about it, back then that rule wasn't implemented. Hey, go to the neutral corner. We've seen fighters get fucked over by the neutral corner shit when they up there celebrating shit, right? But with Jack Dempsey, he had this aura, he had this stamp. That was his thing, was standing over his opponent. But they had included, hey, when it's a knockdown, they had implemented the rule, you got to go to the neutral corner. And when the ref was trying to tell Dempsey didn't initially go when he's supposed to. So the ref used up more time to send Dempsey to the neutral corner. But the crazy part about it, the ones who really know how that shit work, now you do what? You pick up the time from the ringside timekeeper. Back then, them just implementing the motherfucking rule. He just say, hey, go, go, go. It probably wasn't a timekeeper back then. You know how the shit goes, right? So the referee picked up the count. 1, 2, you know what I'm saying? So the 4 or 5 seconds it took the ref to send Dempsey to the neutral corner, he had to start the count with Tooney. And he ended up getting up and winning the fight. That fucked Jack Dempsey up in their rematch. He wanted to get his title back. He fucked it up. He had hurt Tooney bad, and he fucked it up by standing over Tooney while he dropped him. And Tooney was hurt bad. Let that be a lesson. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to give you one of those flashback moments of Jack Reese, counting Tyson Fury. But I guess, them jacks, the jack of all trades, that shit can get a little fuzzy for some people. But Jack Reese, I asked him in the interview, he never was goddamn happy about that shit. But I just thought he gave the long count. But Wilder knocked his ass out. He knocked his ass out. But somewhat similar thing happened in a not so direct way, in a literal sense. And Jack Dempsey showboating when he knocked Tooney to the canvas and shit, bro. I just thought I'd bring that up, though. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all listening. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the hottest chat in the MF gang. Everyone who pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Fury been stopped by Wilder. Salute to everybody that's in the chat, as always. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the MACKMOBB. The Mac Mob was on deck. What's good, man? JD in the building. Puma on deck. Mike on deck. Toby Bartlett on deck. What's good with it? Mr. International. Eclipse 330 on deck. What it do, Square? How you feeling? Haynes Legacy on deck. What it do, man? Hope you're doing better. But yeah, man, I gotta say shout out to Michaela Mayer. She did her thing. She beat the brakes off Sandy Ryan. Shout out to her. I hope she got to get Lauren the fight. I forgot the old girl's name, but that'd be a great fight. But yo, shout out to the one and only out the door.
Bomb Squad!
Appreciate y'all pulling up as always, man. We'll do it again.